Time for another limited state shadow banned YouTube video. I'm game if you are. Right now we find ourselves in the middle of beautiful downtown Wisconsin Dells. Well, not exactly downtown. This is more of the tourist district. This is the playground of Wisconsin. You come to Wisconsin Dells to ride the water slides and go to the amusement parks. Generally waste your money. Weird thing about this town is everything's expensive as hell. A drink at the bar costs twice as much as it would someplace else. A beer, a hot dog, you name it. Everything costs more when you come to the Dells. And people come to expect that. People actually expect to pay more, or somehow or another they seem disappointed. I know, sounds weird, right? But I've seen it firsthand. I used to work at a campground not too far from where we are right now. People would basically be shocked if they found out something was less than 3 times what it should have cost when they were at home. I suppose that speaks to the mentality of some people. You're on vacation. Why try and save a buck? Worked out nice at the campground. Because I used to, first time campers with RVs, we'd put them in a special spot. And I'd come out and help them figure out how to run their new rig, how to dump the sewage and turn the generator on and so forth and so on. And because of where we are, or were as the case may be, they would leave some hellacious tips when they were getting ready to leave the campground. I always kind of enjoyed that. Always thought it was kind of pretty coming through here. This is why people live in Wisconsin. For the scenery. But you pay a price. And the price is right around the corner. Because for 3 months out of every year, you better know how to live in and deal with the cold. Because it's unavoidable. Well, unless you're going to ride down to Arizona for the winter. I'd like to take a second to thank all of the regular watchers. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. And some of you that actually go out of your way to do so. Thank you. Because in the current situation in YouTube, it hardly seems worth the time to make the effort. But that's why they do what they wanted, what they're doing. They would just assume a lot of us leave the platform to make it easier for them to prioritize the celebrities and the people who are willing to shovel them a few bucks in order so that they can promote their ideas and make it seem like their ideas are more popular and more prevalent than they actually are. That's why I still do this. Because even if it's a cry in the night, at least somebody's saying what needs to be said. Because the day could totally come when we all wish we had taken the time to say what was on our minds. Because I don't know about you, but I know what they're trying to do. I know where all this is heading. And if you'd like to know yourself, just read Revelations. It's all coming to pass right before our very eyes. And most people would be willing to call it prophecy. But something we should all remember is that prophecy can't be fulfilled unless we allow it. And I don't want to look back on the times that we have now and have regrets for wasting my time talking about car repairs, for frittering away the opportunity to try and at least open some people's eyes. Because as it says in the book, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Well, do you see? And can you hear? We're already halfway there. People's voices are being silenced. Basically, it's modern day book burning. The information that we want to have access to, we can't find, and so forth and so on. As someone has said repeatedly in the past, it's a new world order. And it has nothing to do with our Constitution and Bill of Rights. When the Democrats talk about America and say that it's a threat to their or our way of life, they're not talking about the Constitution as it's established. They're talking about what they were trying to build. What some exclusive groups out there call their life's work. And the reason why they called America the Great Freedom Experiment is because somebody let the freedom genie out of the bottle just to see what would happen. figuring they could put it back in. And the person who was supposed to bottle the genie didn't get elected. And that's what they're so pissed about. It doesn't got anything to do with a man's character. It hasn't got anything to do with the things that he says. It has to do with the fact that he's been freeing up our liberties, believe it or not. And along the way, the people who want to institute this New World Order needed a scapegoat to blame all their faults on. That's why the left all the time is pointing their fingers at Russia. Anything bad happens that they can blame on the Russians, that's what they do. And if that doesn't work, they'll do what they always do. Pull out the race card. Most people with any intelligence should understand by now that a lot of what we witness on a daily basis is tactics. It's a strategy to take control of our economy and therefore our lives. The push for carbon taxes and control of what they say is climate change is part of it. And when they can't get their way, that's when they start distracting people with other issues. Because their life's work is all about establishing their system of government. One world government, one world religion. And if you go against the system, as has been demonstrated many, many times for a lot of us to see, and I can use my YouTube channel as an example. If you don't go along to get along, you get locked out. And if you have a big enough voice or are being effective with your message, they'll go one further. They'll take away your bank account. They'll take away your opportunities to buy and sell. And if it isn't dealt with in a timely fashion, it's going to get a lot worse. So like I said, that's why I talk about the things that I talk about. Because I don't want this machine that we basically live in to break down. That provides us freedom and liberty to make our own choices. Because the New World Order has no intention of letting you make your own choices. And That should be obvious to anybody who's even half-ass paying attention. The world might look the same, and it will if everything's allowed to change. But it isn't. And in order to go back to what we all know and the freedoms that we should all appreciate, people should pay better attention. People should band together and use their voices so that they can be heard, instead of looking the other way and providing distractions that help these people who call it their life's work accomplish their goals. I can tell you with 100% certainty that if they're allowed to accomplish their life's work, it's going to be one of the crappiest rides you've ever been on.